Evolution of a salesperson. When we get started in anything in sales, we are unconsciously incompetent, meaning we don't know what it is we don't know, right? We have no idea. We're just starting a new job, and I'm going to go sell out tractors, and I've never been on one. You know, I'm a sports car guy, and I'm used to going 60 miles an hour, and to a farmer, 4 miles an hour is fast. It's a different frame of reference, you know what I'm saying? So it's a little bit different if I'm going to go sell farm equipment. So I'm unconsciously incompetent about it. And then as I go out and start talking to people, and they start talking to me, well, it will do 4.2 miles, and I'm going, that's a good thing? I become consciously incompetent, meaning I know I don't know what the heck I'm doing here. And this is the scary part. They talked about why do so many salespeople change? Where is the biggest? This is the turnover point. Right here. They become consciously incompetent. So now the rubber hits the road. What do? Fade back and punt? Change jobs? Go to something else we got another learning curve on? Or we can get better. And when we get better, then we become consciously competent. We start to know what it is that we know. And we start to know that we're good at what we're doing, and we go out and we talk to people, and we start closing sales, and we become consciously competent. But I'll say that there's actually another level, and that's where we're unconsciously competent. Okay? And that's where I was in sales overall when I got into doing sales training and other stuff. I started thinking to myself, okay, I'm good at what I'm doing, but I didn't know why I was better than the next. And that wasn't until I read Rome's book and figured out it was because I was an I, and I like people, so I asked lots of questions. I did it naturally. I was unconsciously competent. I didn't know why I was good, I just knew that I was. An I statement if I've ever heard one, okay? Didn't know why, but I was, baby. Okay, so what happens next is, this is the real level, this is the teachers, these are the people that are in the room here. That's when we become consciously, unconsciously competent, meaning that we know what it is that we did that naturally worked for us that works, so we can teach it. These are the teachers of the world. This is the level that most people, and maybe you've seen this before, the last one's usually not there, because that's the teachers, and that's what most people don't understand is that last step. That's where we become consciously, unconsciously competent. So Joby threw this thing out to me a couple of years ago now. He said, you know, I was showing this person a business thing, and I said to him on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you wish you never met this Italian guy, because he's Italian, so he can say that, and 10 being you're ready to write me a check, where do you stand? And I went, man, that's cool. That afternoon, I went out to a new company. I was on the board of directors of this company, and then they had an opening, and they wanted someone to come in and do sales, so I came in, and one of the things that I like to do in companies is to fish the familiar ponds. A lot of companies have all these customers they never deal with. So this company had this one company that they did a show once a year with. So I called the company up and asked them if they had other shows, and it turned out they did like 40 a year all around the country. And they only did the one in Florida when they came here because they just thought that this company was here, because most people only do them in their region. So I said, well, can we bid on the whole contract? And they said, yeah, come in and talk to us. Now, I had never met this lady. She just took over the job. We had no rapport. I had no nothing. I walk into her. I talk to her about doing all the jobs. I talk about what she's paying. I ask her, what's it costing you? She said, well, we did a cost analysis, and to take the equipment out ourselves and put it on a plane and the extra baggage charges, and that was before now. You know, she said it's costing us about $5,500 to $6,500 a show. I said, well, what if I could come in and do them for $5,000 a show for you? She said, that would be exactly what we're looking for, because then I don't have the headaches, I don't have to worry about it, it will save me money. And I said, great. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you never wish you never met this guy, and I said Irish guy, because I'm Irish and Scottish, so I said, I wish you never met this Irish guy. And 10 being, you ready to write me a purchase order, where do you stand? She said, well, I guess I'm a 10. I said, great, I'm going to need a deposit. Give me, you know, I got a $40,000 deposit because it was 40 shows. I said I need a deposit, boom, boom, boom. I had the deposit in 3 days, and I landed a $450,000 sale.
Where's my commission?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, I knew that was the next question, but because that's the one I'd ask, okay? So there you go. So it was like, okay, wait a minute, this might work. But you know what? As I've learned in using it, like Joby said before, you know, I'm not going to push a C, because guess what a C needs? They need more information. You know what I've also found? Is a C is the only personality that will actually call you back. When they say, I need this, this, and this, and I'll make a decision in 3 days, they mean it. They'll call you back. When an I says it, we're just being polite, and we forgot we ever said it. Okay, it ain't happening, you know what I'm saying? So when they say it, they mean it. It's amazing. But you know what's funny? Is you can't push a C at all. I had this one contract going, and it was a really nice contract for a lot of money, and it was just in the last 6 months. And the guy said to me, we're going to make a decision January 10th. What he told me. He was a C. I knew he was a C. We're in December. Slow month. We want to make some good margins for the month. So what do all salespeople do? What everybody does? Well, let's see if we can move some stuff off the fence. So I called him up and I said, hey, if you book the show in December instead of in January, we'll give you an extra 10% off the show, which to him was about $15,000. And he said to me, I told you I was going to make the decision January 10th. And I said, I am sorry. Or actually, I didn't say I'm sorry. I said, I apologize. Did that on purpose. Anybody get that? Okay. I apologize. I just had this opportunity, and I didn't want you to be mad at me and say, how come I didn't tell you about it? I knew you weren't making the decision on January 10th, but I just want to give you the option. And you know what? He made the decision on January 10th, and he paid $15,000 more for the job, and I had no problem charging it to him. None whatsoever. He was making the decision on January 10th. I wasn't pushing him. Okay? That's just the way it is. And eyes are wondering, why would you do that? And the C's are wondering, well, of course. Because they had a process, and I was jump-starting the process. This is not a good thing. Don't push things faster than they're supposed to. You know, go with the flow, find out what the procedures are, and go with it. So use the information you've gotten here. Because there's the next thing. Where's the rubber hit the road? What am I going to do with it? Where am I going to go from here? Because this stuff makes sense. Yes. Right? Makes sense. Yep. Does everything in life make sense? No. Absolutely not. If everything in life made sense, men would ride side saddle. Right? I don't know who decided that, but it's probably the same person that put the bar on the guy's bike. Guys, you've ever broken a chain? You had the same thought, right? You were going, what's the bar doing here? Okay, this makes no sense. Okay, doesn't, but this makes sense. You apply it. Speak their language. You know, if I go to France, I'm probably going to do a little bit better if I can learn to speak a little French. So I'm an I, and I have negative C. Dawn said her C is 0. I think mine's a negative number. I have no C whatsoever in my body. But I can learn a little C when I go to their country, so I can be accepted. You know, when I went to the Philippines, you know, I learned to say like 3 words. You'd be amazed how grateful people were because I learned to say thank you. And I learned to say please. You know, and I learned to ask a couple other questions. Just a couple of things. You would not believe how many people were thrilled that I took the effort. And it's the same thing here. You know, I know somebody was asking the question, well, isn't that, you know, being a chameleon or changing yourself? It's like, no, I'm just learning to speak a little bit of their language so we can relate. And that's all there is to it.